Hi, I'm Margaret, and welcome to Garden School. It's getting toward the holiday season, so we're going to talk about a popular holiday plant, the Christmas cactus, also the Thanksgiving cactus. Now, the genus is the Schlumbergera genus, and there's a couple of different varieties that we have. We're going to talk about just some general things that we can observe about the different kinds of Christmas cactus. And then we're going to talk about the general care of Christmas cactus, and then talk about how to propagate Christmas cactus. So if you're gifted a Christmas cactus at this time of the year, it very well could be a hybrid, which would be the Schlumbergera bucklei. That's the one, and it's a cross, so it's a hybrid. But there's also Thanksgiving cactus and Christmas cactus. Now the Thanksgiving cactus, you can see on the leaf segment or the stem segment, it looks kind of like a crab claw, a little bit pointed and hooked like that. This is the variety Schlumbergera truncata. And you can see how jagged those edges of the flat stem segment are. The Christmas cactus has a smoother edge. Here's an example of the Christmas cactus, and that would be Schlumbergera russelliana. And it really is a lot smoother and more rounded on the edge. Now, when we want to talk about the care of Christmas cactus, many people, if they're in a moderate climate, they'll put their Christmas cactus outdoors for the summertime, the spring, summer, and into the fall. And that's just fine. They don't demand high light, and if you put them in strong sunlight, you'll see some leaf damage, some sun scald. Here's an example of one that had some sun scald. The leaves are a little bit purplish, and there was some other damage, I think, on this one over here, where it was just in a place where it got a little bit too much sun. That's okay, they'll recover. They do need light, but not super strong light. Now they also need water. Even though they're a cactus and a succulent, they do need water, but they also need good drainage. So that's something to think about when you're watering your Christmas cactus. In a hot summer, they'll need water perhaps several times a week, so don't neglect them. Then, as far as fertilizing, you can fertilize them with just a general house plant fertilizer as you would your other house plants. But when they've started to bloom, then you want to hold off on that fertilizing until the blooming is done, and then you can reinstitute your fertilizing plan to keep your plants looking nice and healthy. When you do bring them in to the house from being outside in the summer, you'll want to do that when the temperatures get about 50 degrees, so it's starting to get cooler. And then as you bring them in, you'll notice perhaps that the buds have started to set. When you change the temperature there when they're located, the buds can drop, and that can just happen. So don't be alarmed if that does happen. But they'll do better if you bring them into a cooler room, maybe like a 65-degree room or a 60-degree room where they can be cooler and not be shocked by the indoor warm temperature and the change in humidity, that kind of thing. So if you want to propagate your cactus, that's pretty easy to do. You're just going to take a segment that has between 1 and 4 of these leaf segments or stem segments, and you're going to break it off or cut it off. And then you can do it two ways. You can either put the end of that in water and it should root, or you can just put the end of that, just tuck it right into the pot where you have your cactus, or another pot into some moist soil, and pretty soon you'll see some rooting happening there. That's a great way to multiply your collection, and to be able to share the gift of a plant with somebody. Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of different colors here of the blossoms. This beautiful white one, this is what is called a Thanksgiving cactus. It's that variety, that truncata, that has those barbed edges here on the leaf and the stem segment. But what a beautiful little flower. How pretty that is. And then we have this one here that's a nice red one. This is also the variety that would be called the Thanksgiving cactus. As you can see, the rough edges there on the stem segment. And then here's one down here. This is what we call the Christmas cactus, and that has the rounded one, the Russelliana. And this beautiful little flower has kind of a pinkish tint to it. It's very, very nice. Now this one is already bloomed out. This was a beautiful, it actually happens to be 2 different varieties or subspecies in the same pot. Half of it was a beautiful medium pink and the other half was almost a salmon color. So quite a range, and it was really delightful to see them all set bud and then bloom. So Christmas cactus. If you are lucky enough to be given one, or you just see one you have to get at the nursery, go ahead and do it. It's really a fun plant to have at Christmas or Thanksgiving. Oh, and there's also a plant very similar to this that blooms in the spring, sometime between March and May. And I actually have one of those too. I was surprised to find it. Now it's not Schlumbergera. I have to look at my note here. Then the name of the genus is Ripsalidopsis. Ripsalidopsis, that's the one that will bloom in the spring. And it's a different plant, but has very much the same growing conditions, growing needs, and growing pattern. And that one's the Easter cactus. So there's some fun to have, and there's always more to learn in the garden. Bye-bye.